Can you believe it? The TV sitting in your living room that you watch every evening might have been designed to break exactly in the 5th year. It's not because you used it incorrectly, it's not due to bad luck, but because that's how this industry operates. What the advertisement says, 4K TV, thin, sharp, smart, and that's the pinnacle of technology. But then, after 5 years, everything started to get strange. The app runs slowly, the screen is darker. A software update caused the TV to continuously restart, accompanied by the chilling words from the warranty center. "It's expired, sir." Even major electronics companies like Samsung and LG release dozens of new models each year, but the software support lifecycle usually only lasts a few years. Is it a coincidence or a calculated move? In this video, we will delve into how TVs are designed, attempt to interview repair technicians, and analyze product lifecycle data to answer one question. Is your TV broken because you used it incorrectly? Or because it was designed to break? Let's get started. Perhaps nothing convinces us more than numbers. A study tracking the life cycle of TVs in Europe shows old CRT TVs have an average lifespan of about 15 years. Not an uncommon case. That's the median, meaning half of the TVs last longer than that. What about modern LCD and LED TVs? The number is only about half, from 5 to 7 years. If the CRT TV is a 1-5-year marriage, then the modern TV is like a 5 to 6 year rental contract before you move out again. Not to mention, about 40% of flat-screen TVs are discarded within the first 5 years, almost half. While with CRT, this number is only about 20%. This means the rate of leaving the living room has doubled. And when looking at the budget segment, data from consumer review organizations show that 1-inch, 5 units experience significant issues within the first 5 years. Here lies a paradox that makes many people ponder. Technology is heavily advertised as getting better and more modern. Higher resolution, stronger processing circuits. Yet the lifespan has decreased. Why does a more modern device, produced with more advanced technology, have a shorter lifespan than the previous generation? And the deeper we go, the more everything surprises us. The answer does not lie in a single component. It lies in the way the entire ecosystem is designed, from hardware and software to the business model. How long have you been using your TV? Has it surpassed the 5-year mark? Leave a comment below so you can see you're not alone. In the next part, we will open the TV lid literally to see what is truly determining its lifespan. And if you're interested in this kind of internal disassembly analysis, you can follow the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Try to imagine a very ordinary evening. You turn on the TV, the sound is still playing, you can clearly hear the character speaking, but the screen is almost pitch black. Only when you shine a flashlight on it can you vaguely see the image behind. Immediately, you think the screen is broken. But not necessarily. In most cases, it is the backlight that has failed. And that's exactly where all the trouble begins. Inside modern LCD, LED TVs are dozens of thin LED strips placed behind the panel. They are connected in series, like Christmas lights. One bulb out, the whole string goes dark. One strip goes out, the entire screen dims. According to the repair technicians, most of the TVs brought to the shop have a common issue. The backlight deteriorates early, and what's noteworthy is that the rest of the TV, the processing board, speakers, and panel are still functioning. So why do these LEDs fail so quickly? Look at how the TVs are displayed in the store. The default picture mode is usually vivid or dynamic, with brightness set to almost maximum. This makes the TV stand out under showroom lights. But it's also like driving at high RPMs continuously. LEDs are pushed to their thermal limits for many hours each day. The theoretical lifespan of an LED can reach tens of thousands of hours. But at the highest brightness level, that number can drop significantly, like a light bulb in the house running at full power 24/7. A family I know bought a $600 TV. After 4 years, one side of the screen started to darken. Quoted the cost to replace the LED strip at nearly $400. They chose to buy new, not because they want to upgrade, but because the repair cost is no longer economically reasonable. There is no sensational script here. It's just a series of technical decisions. thinner, brighter, more vibrant designs, and less room for durability. What about you? Are you keeping the TV at maximum brightness? Have you ever reduced the brightness to extend its lifespan? But this is just the first layer of this story. In the next part, we will look at the second silent culprit, a tiny component on the power board, which can determine the moment your TV stops, almost precisely after the warranty expires. And if this kind of internal dissection analysis is helpful to you, consider following the channel. We have many more layers to peel back. Alright, now let's move on to the second culprit. One morning, you press the power button. Nothing happened. No clicking sound, no indicator light. The TV was pitch black as if it had never existed. You think, it must be seriously broken. But when a technician opened the back cover, he didn't see a disaster. He only saw a few small, cylindrical capacitors, their tops slightly bulging like the lids of cans being pushed up due to pressure. This is the power board, the component considered the heart of the TV's electrical system. And in many cases, the cause is just a few components worth a few dozen thousand dong. Electrolytic capacitors have a characteristic. They age over time, especially when subjected to high temperatures in thin, enclosed spaces. High-quality capacitors can last 10-15 years. But the common type is usually optimized for cost, with a lifespan of 3-5 years. Sounds familiar? A 6.5-inch TV owner shared. The machine broke down in the 25th month. 2-4-month warranty. The repair shop said the power board is faulty and 3 capacitors are swollen. The repair cost is $80. Replace with an original manufacturer part? $400 and wait 6 weeks. Clearly, this is not a mysterious incident, but simply a cost problem. Simply put, a company sells 5 million TVs each year. If they save $3 on each power supply, they keep $15 million. Multiply by many product lines, that number is no longer small. One technician even said, "The TV doesn't break early. It broke down just in time." This does not mean that every TV is calculated down to the exact day. But when designing around price and warranty period, the lifespan of components is also considered according to that logic. Have you ever encountered a TV that broke down right after the warranty expired? Please share your experience because sometimes personal stories paint a bigger picture than any report. In the next section, we will talk about an even more sophisticated killer, not breaking the TV hardware, but making it obsolete from the inside software and lack of support. Since using smart TVs, there's a type of malfunction that makes many customers feel more annoyed than a black screen. The TV still turns on. The picture is still beautiful. The backlight is still on. But Netflix started crashing. YouTube takes 30 seconds to load a video. Then one day, the app disappeared from the download store. The hardware is still alive, but the experience is not. This is when the story shifts from electronics to a software ecosystem. Smart TVs today run on their own operating systems, Tizen, WebOS, Google TV. These platforms need updates to be compatible with streaming apps like Netflix, Disney+, YouTube names with the highest CPM and RPM values in the digital content world. The problem is, the software support lifecycle usually lasts only 4-6 years. Then, when the application upgrades its security protocol or changes the API, your 4-year-old TV may no longer meet the standards to run smoothly. It's like having a car that still runs well, but one day, the gas station says the type of fuel you use has been discontinued. A 2017 TV owner shared, "The machine works perfectly in terms of hardware, but after about 4 years, the application started to malfunction. The support center simply replied, 'This model is no longer being updated. No components are broken. It's just that the line of code is no longer being written.'" From an economic perspective, this is not difficult to understand. Maintaining a team of engineers to update software for millions of old devices is a significant cost. Meanwhile, launching new lines of 4K, 8K, and mini LED TVs generates new revenue. So the question is, are we buying a TV, or are we buying access to a limited-time platform? Have you ever encountered a situation where an app no longer works on the TV, even though the device is still functioning well? Please share your experience, as it is an important part of the story about planned obsolescence and the life cycle of consumer electronics. In the next section, We will connect three pieces: the backlight, the power board, and the software to see the bigger picture of how a modern smart TV is shaped by technology and the business model behind it. And if you're interested in in-depth analyses of technology, digital business, and how the devices we use every day actually operate, you can follow the channel. We still have one more layer to uncover. Let's be honest, ultra-thin screen TVs always attract you more than those thick and heavy old models, right? Today's TVs are so thin that you can hang them on the wall like a painting. Advertisements call it ultra-slim design, bezel-less experience, minimalist living room. But there is a question that is rarely asked. Where does the heat go? A technician once advised me, a modern TV is essentially a giant laptop mounted directly on the wall. Inside the thin shell of a few centimeters are the processor, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, power supply, LED backlight, all operating in an almost sealed space. Compared to the old CRT, a heavy, thick box full of empty space, modern TVs seem to compress an entire room into a narrow corridor. CRT inadvertently became a massive heat sink. Components have breathing space. Heat dissipates naturally. What about a thin TV? Heat is retained. According to repair guidelines, just a 10-15 degrees Celsius increase in internal temperature over a few years due to dust accumulation and poor airflow can significantly reduce the lifespan of components. Imagine running a car in conditions where the engine is always hotter than normal. Every part will wear out faster. A family shared that after 3 years, the TV started turning off by itself when watching movies for a long time. It's not due to a power surge, but due to overheating. After cleaning the ventilation holes, the condition improved, but the power board had already deteriorated beforehand. The issue here is not that thin TVs are bad. The issue is that aesthetics have been prioritized equally, if not more than, long-term durability. To be fair, a thin design helps sell more, but it doesn't always help to live longer. What about you? Do you hang the TV completely against the wall? Have you ever cleaned the rear ventilation grill? These small details sometimes add an extra year or lose a year of lifespan. And when we piece together three factors, the backlight pushed to maximum brightness, high temperature capacitors, and time-limited software, we start to see a clearer picture. Now, we will talk about the most sensitive issue, not just the technology, but the business model behind the 5-year life cycle of a modern smart TV. Let me reveal to you that we are getting closer to the most important part of the story, so don't take your eyes off it. By now, we have talked about backlighting, power supply, temperature, and software. But if you stop at the technical aspects, you will miss the bigger picture. The problem is not that engineers don't know how to make things more durable. The issue is, will the market reward that durability? Let's go back 20 years. A TV is a significant investment. High price. The profit margin is thick enough for the manufacturer to design for a 10-15 year life cycle. The replacement cycle is long, but each purchase is an important decision. And today, a 5.5-inch 4K smart TV can be cheaper than a 2.7-inch CRT from $1,995 when adjusted for inflation. Prices have dropped significantly. Fierce competition. The profit margin is as thin as the TV itself. And then, in that context, businesses naturally have to optimize in a different way. Not just optimizing the image, but optimizing the replacement cycle. All right, let's do a simple calculation together. If a company sells 10 million TVs each year, and the average lifespan is 10 years, the replacement market each year is only about 1 million units. But if the lifespan is reduced to 5 years, the replacement demand doubles. No one needs to intentionally do anything too extreme. Just need the entire system from component selection, software support, to spare parts inventory, optimized for price and warranty period. That's why extended warranties often focus on the 3rd to 7th year. It's not a coincidence. That is the highest risk phase according to repair statistics. A former industry engineer once shared, "We design to meet the target price and exceed the warranty period with an acceptable failure rate." It sounds cold, but that's economics, not emotions. And here lies a paradox. We want TVs to be cheaper, thinner, smarter, but each of those demands puts pressure on costs and product lifespan. So, I have a question for you. Would you prefer a 000 TV that lasts 10 years or a $500 TV that lasts 5 years? And do you really have that choice? Now is the time for us to connect everything. Engineering, thermodynamics, software, and economics to answer the biggest question. Is the 5-year cycle really the new normal for consumer electronics? If you're interested in how digital business, smart TVs, and revenue models shape the products we use every day, consider following the channel. The picture is almost complete. If LCDs have backlighting and power supply as weaknesses, then OLEDs are being promoted as the perfect future. Absolute black, infinite contrast. The image makes traditional LED look like a child's toy. And indeed, in terms of image quality, OLED is a leap forward. But here's a detail that is rarely mentioned in product presentations. OLED pixels self-illuminate and age over time. Unlike LED backlights that either work or don't, OLED is like a marathon runner. It doesn't collapse suddenly. It is gradually getting tired. A user shared, after about 18 months of watching the news channel every morning with a fixed ticker running, he started seeing a shadow on the bright background. Not clear, not too heavy, but enough to make him unable to ignore it anymore. Long-term tests show that, under normal usage conditions, OLED is quite stable. But if the content has repeating static elements games with fixed HUDs, news channels, scoreboards, the risk of burn-in is real. And even without burn-in, OLED still experiences brightness degradation over the years. After 5-6 years, many people notice that the screen is no longer as vibrant as it was in the beginning. That doesn't mean OLED is bad. It just reminds us that each technology has its own physical lifespan. So if it were you, would you be willing to trade off peak image quality to accept the gradual aging process over time? And when a TV breaks down after just 5 years instead of 15, the story doesn't end in the living room. If just one market sells tens of millions of TVs each year, and nearly 20% of them need to be replaced within the first 3-5 years, then the number of discarded devices is like millions of 5.5-inch screens stacking up each year to form a wall of electronic waste. TVs contain plastic, rare metals, and electronic components. Recycling is not always simple or cheap. Companies often promote energy efficiency, eco mode, and carbon-neutral shipping. But if a device saves a few watts of electricity per hour and then needs to be replaced 5-7 years earlier, the benefit is erased by the new production cost. The most environmentally friendly TV, perhaps the one that lasts 10-15 years. So when we talk about smart TVs, OLED, 4K, 8K, digital lifestyle, have we accounted for the product's entire life cycle? At this point, you might be thinking, if everything is optimized for a 5-year cycle, what can I do? The answer is not to boycott technology, but rather understanding the rules of the game and adjusting how to participate. Let's start with the simplest thing, brightness. Many TVs are shipped in vivid mode, like running a light bulb at full power for 12 hours a day. Switching to cinema, or standard mode, reducing the brightness to a moderate level, can help the backlight endure less thermal stress. It may seem small, but from a physical standpoint, a few degrees lower in temperature can significantly extend the lifespan of the components. Next is heat and dust. Clean the cooling vents every 6 months, like changing the oil for a car. You won't see the immediate effect, but it quietly protects the interior. Third, separate software from hardware. Instead of relying entirely on integrated smart TVs, use separate streaming boxes like Roku, Apple TV, Chromecast. When the app stops being supported, you only need to replace the $50 device, not the entire $800 screen. That's how to reduce software risks in the digital ecosystem. And don't forget the basics. Surge protectors, turning off the TV when not in use, avoiding running background processes all day. Finally, and most importantly, it's how you buy. Sometimes a higher-end, more durable model has a lower cost per year even though the initial price is higher. Calculate based on cost per year, not just the price on the label. What methods have you tried to extend the lifespan of your TV? Are there any effective tips you would like to share with everyone? Remember, you can't change the entire consumer electronics industry, but you can completely change the way you invest in it. Let's go back to the image of the old CRT TV in the living room from years ago. It's not thin, not smart, no Wi-Fi, but it has been there for 10, 15 years. Silently, persistent, almost requires nothing. And today, we have 4K screens, OLED, Dolby Vision, smart TVs, AI upscaling. Everything is more beautiful than ever, but the lifespan is shorter. TV used to be a household appliance. Now it is a consumer product with a clear replacement cycle. That doesn't mean the technology is bad. It only means that the rules of the game have changed. The question is, are you buying by the old rules while the market is operating by the new rules? How long have you been using your TV? Is it broken due to hardware, software, or did you upgrade it on purpose? Please share your story in the comments because sometimes real data from the community is more valuable than any report. If you find that this type of analysis helps you better understand how technology, the economy, and business models affect daily life, you can subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. And a small note, this video is not intended to criticize any specific brand. Each brand, each product line, has its exceptions. Our goal here is to understand the general trend in order to make more informed decisions. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video.